Hello and welcome, friends. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I feature 6 cards I made with the September 2020 Hero Arts My Monthly Hero kit. This month's kit features a beautiful fall theme and includes a Heroescapes layered stamp for a pumpkin patch. It's really beautiful. In addition to the 6x8 stamp set, there's also a 4x6 set of nothing but sentiments. In addition to the pumpkin patch, there is a corn stalk patch, if you will, with 2 stamps. There is a scarecrow, a wheel, a crow, a bale of hay, and some birds in flight, and 3 other sentiments. So lots of sentiments this month. So that should be fun. Let's go. Oh, and I missed a couple of things. There are also a couple of faces for our jack-o'-lanterns. So let's go ahead and get started. You also get 4 ink cubes, grape slush, cup of joe, creamsicle, and lemon drops in beautiful fall colors. And 3 sparkly papers, 2 sheets each of gold, copper, and looks like a bronze or a dark brown color. Let's go ahead and start crafting. My apologies for being so late with this kit. I actually had to move my elderly father from one state to the next. He lives in Ohio and I live in Illinois. So I had to fly out there and move him to Alabama, which is our home state. And so that took a lot of doing. So hopefully I can get caught up on my kids soon. I received the October kit a few weeks ago, so I'm dying to get busy with that. Um, but here you'll see that I'm using moss ink. And earlier I said we only got 4 cubes. We actually got 5 because we did get moss in this kit. So here I'm using the moss as the backdrop for the grass. And then I will come in with creamsicle for the pumpkins, the color of the pumpkins. Oh, this is going to be beautiful. I love fall and I love this Heroescape. So after the creamsicle, then I'm going to come in with the leaves of the patch. And if you've ever grown pumpkins, you know that there are a lot of leaves and they sprawl very wide, far and wide. So I'm coming in with grape slush for the um, I guess the definition, the leaves of the pumpkin patch and the definition on the pumpkins even. And next, I am going to make a background panel using squeezed lemonade, wild honey, and dusty Concord distress oxides for one of my cards. So I'm just blending these 3 colors all together, and then I'm going to come in with some black soot to finish it off because I want a somewhat spooky scene. When my twins were little, I would grow pumpkins in the backyard and we just loved them. They take over though. Let me know in the comments whether or not you buy pumpkins every fall to decorate or for Halloween for that matter. Or if you've ever grown pumpkins. They get, I guess they're really impressive. They get really large And like I say, they take over the yard, but it's a beautiful sight. Here, I thought I'd show you some pictures of my last pumpkin patch. It just took over the yard. These are really quick. And here's a picture of my son when he was little. He's sitting on a pumpkin that we grew, and the pumpkin is just as big as he is. And this is my daughter just playing in the fall leaves. We just all love fall. And here is a pumpkin that we carved one year. So, moving back to the panels, I blended a second panel with Stormy Sky Distress Oxide, and then I brought in Peeled Paint Distress Oxide and a little black soot to finish it off. So I mentioned that I had to go to Alabama, and Alabama is a high risk state for COVID, according to Illinois. So I had to do a 2-week quarantine when I got back home, and that was actually more difficult than my travels and getting dad established in a new home. I decided to focus on my backgrounds a little bit more in the beginning and then go back and put my cards together. Now let's take a look at card number 1. I made this panel on craft cardstock, and I used a lot of the fall greetings or the thankful greetings from the kit to make it. I used the copper and the bronzy brown colored glittered cardstock. Cut one with a scallop and then one with a circle. I heat embossed the sentiment on black cardstock, and I used some Hero Arts copper embossing powder for the sentiment. Then I also stamped some orange pumpkins from a past Hero Arts kit. There's no definition to them. And that was just to kind of tie the sparkled paper, and I should say the glitter paper, and the panel together. And then I used black soot distress oxide ink around the perimeter of the card. And trimmed that down, and I used a black cord or string. To tie a bow. And then I mounted that with fun foam onto the black card base. Card number 2 is using one of the panels we made earlier with the black soot, the stormy sky, and a little bit of squeezed lemonade. I added corn patch using the lemon drop and the creamsicle ink, and then of course the pumpkin patch we made earlier that uses moss, creamsicle, and cup of joe. I think earlier we used grape slush, but I tried different ones. I also die cut the scarecrow, stamped a wheel, and 3 bales of hay and a crow. And then I was thinking of the movie The Birds when I stamped all the birds in the sky. I wanted like a swarm of birds. And then I heat embossed the Happy Halloween using VersaFine Onyx Black ink and some clear embossing powder. Card number 3 is a slimline card that measures 3 3/4 by 8 1/2 folded. As I stamped each row, I placed an acetate sheet on my panel so that I could move my stamp without having to clean it. And if there was any ink to be had, it would be placed on the acetate sheet, which I can rub off, later using a baby wipe or some alcohol. So I did that each time I stamped, to save some time and some cleanup, just clean up at the end. I'm taking a pencil and marking off where I want to place ink on my craft panel. And I'm going to use the Cup of Joe ink to actually swink this panel. I think it's called swinking. I think I've heard that here lately. I let the ink dry. Each line is 1/8 of an inch, and I did a let them cross at each corner. I affixed my white focal panel, stamped panel, to the brown craft panel, and then affixed that directly to my card base. I heat embossed my sentiment using copper embossing powder, and then added some of the glitter paper as a backdrop to the sentiment. I sprayed my panel with some gold glimmer spray and actually had to place a block on top because I should have sprayed it before I affixed it to the card panel and the card base. Sometimes I get so caught up in crafting, I do a misstep, and this is what I did here. But it worked out this time because the block actually pressed everything back out, after it dried. I'm using a glue dot to affix my accent to the card, and then I will mount my sentiment on craft foam, craft tape. I'll be back soon with part 2 of this kit. Let's take a look now at all cards I made in this video. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, good day, friends.